enough. So enjoy that battle, but in the end, as always, it's the Sunday that will count.
And what is it that is going to make the difference today? Because overtaking is very tricky. We know about this long run down to turn one and the importance of getting a move in at the start. Are you kind of hinging it all on that?
It is pretty decent run into turn one, and especially in these conditions, if it's a standing start, it's going to be pretty important moment of the race. So full focus for that, and after that it seems like it's going to be long and eventful race, most likely with these weather conditions, so it's need to get the head down.
I mean, these weather conditions are so unusual for Hungary at this time of the year. How much of a challenge have they been throughout the weekend and going into the race today?
For sure it's being compromised slightly, but it's the same for everyone. It's not quite usual here to have this kind of weather, but I mean it's okay. It's not the first time we've driven in the wet, and normally it can just mix things up. So yeah, I'm ready for anything.
And if we can have a word from you in Finnish about how you're feeling about the race.
Tietenkin odotan kisaa kovasti, että hyvä lähtöpaikka ja kaikki on auki ja kaikki on mahdollista tänään, ja näköjään että tänään keli varmasti voi muuttaa asioita ja tulee paljon muuttuvia tekijöitä matkaa, mutta koitetaan tehdä oikeat valinnat ja koitetaan pysyä valkoisten viivojen välissä ja ei muuta kuin hyvällä keskittymisellä vaan ja hanaa, niin eiköhän tästä hyvä työ.
Thank you very much. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Oh. It's great, isn't it?
Well, Lewis, qualifying yesterday was magnificent. Your 90th pole. I mean, that's a staggering number of poles. And this is a circuit that you just seem to excel at. History beckons for you today. You can match Michael Schumacher's record for wins here as well. How much does that matter to you, and how do you feel off the back of a great performance yesterday?
That's not something I think about at all. Numbers and all those kind of things are just irrelevant when it comes to actually going out and doing the job, so I don't let that really be a distraction. I'm just focused on trying to do the best job I can today. We didn't know whether it was going to rain or not. Obviously, it's very wet, so it's a real tall order today. No matter where you start, it's so tricky out there, the conditions. These cars never get easier to drive in the rain, so it's going to require an hour and a half or whatever it is long of intense focus to bring that car home in first place. So.
And describe the feeling of hooking up that lap yesterday, because it must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean everyone has just a different feeling to it, The one in the rain last week was just, that puts a massive smile on my face, because that was really exceptional. I think yesterday was what I needed in terms of ultimately you've got to do a solid lap, and managed to put everything together. And it does feel incredible to go out there. I mean, every qualifying session feels incredible when you go out and you're able to exploit the car to the limit. And sometimes you're just under par, and that's when you lose the pole position and you're second or maybe further behind. So, when I'm just looking back at this team, I'm so proud of all these guys.
I bet. And what are your plans around the national anthem?
No change. We'll just be doing the same thing as we're doing. The fight continues. It is raining, so it might look a little bit different, but I don't know what everyone else will be doing, but I'll be at the front.
All the best today. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Well, I'm down at Ferrari, Charles Leclerc. It's nice weather, eh?
Oh, I thought you would give me the
I can't paddle.
Not a great weather today. I think it's going to be quite tricky, but it's one of those races where you need to do the least amount of mistakes possible in difficult conditions. So I'll give it all, and we'll see. Probably be careful a bit more at the start compared to last week, though.
Yeah, well, you're sixth on the grid, but obviously for the race itself, you've got the racing points in front, you've got Max Verstappen behind and Lando Norris, of course, your teammate around you. How do you expect the race to go if it is wet?
Well, again, I think the start will be very, very tricky, as it always is, but especially on the wet with the big braking point. So I'll have to be careful there and then try to build from there. But I think the performance was there on Friday on Seb's side. I worked quite a lot to get up to speed in the wet, and hopefully it will pay off today.
Do you reckon you can challenge the racing points, and more importantly, do you reckon you can challenge the Mercedes if it is wet as well?
I don't know. Seb is saying yes now, so yes, I really hope so, but it's going to be difficult.
Right, but if it's dry, of course, you haven't quite had the pace. I'm sure you're very disappointed with that. But in a race situation, do you think you have a better chance of a better performance?
Yes, but the sun better come out right now if we want a dry race. I don't think we'll have a dry race today.
Okay. Do you want to say a few words in your own language?
Oui, alors ça va être une course compliquée. Comme toujours, le départ va être important, mais je pense que plus que le week-end dernier, ce sera très important de survivre les premiers tours, parce que sous la pluie, c'est toujours compliqué, et ensuite essayer de faire une bonne course de là où on part.
Right. Sebastian, do you like these conditions? Is this a good opportunity for you? Because you don't go bad in the wet.
Give your sound guy some bit of your umbrella, Johnny.
Oh, there, I'll bring you in. Sorry, my friend, you are joking. Right, okay, he's in.
What did you ask?
It was great, yeah. Are these your conditions? You seem to do pretty okay when it's wet.
Well, we'll see. I mean, now it's raining. I guess at some point it will stop. Whether that will be today and during the race and enough to dry up, we'll see. But it should be an exciting race, so we'll see. I hope we don't have to start behind the safety car and then take it from there.
Yeah, and what about those racing points? Do you reckon you've got enough pace in a race situation to challenge them?
We hope so, but their pace is genuine, and not just in quali but also in the race. Obviously last week they had a very good race in Austria, so different track, different conditions, but if you're fast, you're fast. So it will be a bit of a stretch, but we'll try.
Yeah, what about Max as well? Max doing very well with Red Bull, but of course Lando Norris in that McLaren, they look as if they have a very good race car as well, so it's going to be quite hard for you.
You know, the thing is that you always tend to say that you have a better race car than in quali, because obviously it will be quite bad going into the race saying that it's going to be a lot worse. So I think we all hope for a better race than qualifying, no matter where you are, unless you are in pole. But we are not, so we hope for a good race.
Right, and a few words in your own language.
Ja, ich glaube, heute kann alles passieren. Im Moment regnet es, wer weiß, ob sich der Regen hält. Ich denke, es wird auf jeden Fall wichtig sein, im Rennen am Anfang gut durchzukommen und dann vielleicht ein paar Plätze gut zu machen. Und dann, glaube ich, wird es irgendwann mal aufhören zu regnen und vielleicht abtrocknen. Und dann die richtige Entscheidung zum richtigen Zeitpunkt zu treffen, glaube ich, wird heute wichtig. Viel Spaß auf jeden Fall.
Max, you made it clear that you were unhappy with the balance of the car this weekend. You started P7 today. Have you got any closer to working out what your problems are? Because it seems such a different car from here this time last year.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, it's just not working like we want to. And of course, to figure things out over one night, it's not going to happen. I think there are a lot more things to it. So luckily, we will have a week of analyzing a lot of things, and then I hope, of course, we can correct it very soon.
I guess the problem is when you have a triple header, you obviously didn't get the results that you wanted and deserved in Austria. You kind of need to almost take stock and reflect before go racing again. There are benefits to triple headers, but there are also problems that come with them.
Yeah, but of course, we would have liked to start off a bit better. But yeah, it is what it is. You can't change it now. We just try to make the best of it. I mean, you can see now it's raining, and that normally always creates a bit more chaos in general. So yeah, we'll see today.
It's strange for you to be starting in the middle of the pack. You've got the McLarens behind you. What kind of race do you see them having? Are you going to have to defend a lot, or can you take it forward to the Ferraris?
Well, I hope I don't need to defend even more than starting from P7. So I hope we are fighting with the guys ahead.
Quick word in Dutch, please.
Ja, het regent, het is nat en we zien wel waar het schip strandt.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Was that it?
That's it.
I have no idea what you said, but I'm sure it was great.
I'm not sure.
Lekker, lekker. That's the only word I know in Dutch. Alex, P13, unlucky for some. I know you were very frustrated yesterday being put out in traffic. How have you kind of processed the performance of yesterday and got your head around the race today?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, just mainly trying to forget about it. Obviously, it wasn't a great day, but there were a few reasons. I think it wasn't just one reason. I mean, traffic is one, but also doing the lap and also and having our own issues. So, yeah, it is a new day. It's raining, which is I think it's a good thing. Hopefully, we can have a bit of a mixed race, and yeah, I think as long as it stays like this, we could make some positions up.
It's kind of surreal, isn't it, seeing these empty grandstands behind us? I know we're all really grateful to be back racing, but
yeah.
The empty stands, no fans, and then this weather that is just unheard of in Hungary at this time of the year, it doesn't feel quite right, does it?
No, I mean, it's been pretty bad weather since we've started, also in Red Bull Ring. But it's good for us. I think it will be a good show for the guys at home. And no, it does feel quiet, but at the same time, parts of it is quite nice. Like I was saying, like with the media stuff, it's quite nice to not have you guys around too much.
Hey, hang on a minute.
I mean,
I was supporting you then.
You guys are great, but
don't keep digging.
I do like the Zoom meetings.
Quit while you're ahead. Listen, good luck today. We're all supporting you, even if you don't support us.
Thank you.
Well, I'm down at McLaren. I've got Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, 8th and 9th on the grid. Are you smiling with this rain that we've got coming down at the moment? Or are you going, I want it to stop? Lando.
Me? I'm not sure. We did obviously a good job in Austria in the rain, but this track is still very different. Tarmac's different. Still how we set up the car is relatively different. So I don't know, it's going to be tricky. We have did a couple laps in P2, but not that many. So it's hard to say whether we've been quick or whether we're going to be quick or anything like that. So we've got to wait and see. But the rain normally always makes for a more exciting race. Whatever track, especially here in Budapest, where when it's dry, it's very difficult to overtake and do anything. So yeah, I think it's going to help us, if anything.
Right, and what about sort of turn 1, turn 2? In some ways, it's similar to what you've got in turn 3 in Austria. It gets very, very tight.
Yeah.
How much care are you going to take on that first lap, if any?
What's really, if any? I think one of the most important things is just seeing the checkered flag. Is getting to the end, especially if it's a race like this. If it's going to start wet, there's always crashes, incidents, and penalties, and so on. So. We always have to take care. You always have to in a Formula 1 car. Every little bit on the car counts. So it's going to be a difficult race, especially with the visibility. If it's wet into turn 1, it can get very difficult. But yeah, we got to fight. We got to try to go forward if we can. But we also need to try to score points at the end of the race.
Do you think you can sort of challenge Max in front of you? Do you reckon there's a chance of having a battle with him?
Ferrari?
No, Max.
Oh, Max. I mean, we can. I think if we look at our pace yesterday, it wasn't that far off, but still their race pace is normally a step stronger than ours. I think if we look at last weekend, they had a better car. Over the past 4 or 5 years, they've had a better car. So I don't think they have a bad car this weekend or anything. I think they've just had a tougher weekend and maybe didn't get all of it out in qualifying. But I think when you get to the race, they're probably going to be the stronger and faster car. So we'll do what we can. We'll try and get ahead. But we'll see what happens.
Okay. Cheers, Lando. Carlos, of course, these wet conditions, but you're with your teammate on the grid. How much are you looking forward to that sort of first lap battle with him?
Well, first of all, let's see if there's a first lap battle, no? Because in these kind of conditions, my initial guess would be safety car start because of visibility. But if we do get a proper start in the wet conditions, we're going to see so little that we're going to take it super easy, so it's not going to be a huge problem. Anyway, looking forward to it. Racing in the wet is always fun, and as Lando said, just keep yourself in the race and then little by little try and progress.
Does it give you more opportunities if it's wet to maybe get sort of a nice surprising result?
Yeah, definitely. I think wet brings opportunity for everyone who is not starting in pole position, who has everything to lose basically, and everyone who is starting third or behind the Mercedes. We all have our little chances today, but Racing Points are normally very quick in the dry. I think in the dry they would be unbeatable today, so maybe in the wet we have a chance. But we don't know what the weather's going to do yet. It might dry out before the race, so let's see.
And a few words in your own language.
Bueno, creo que es un día interesante, ¿no? El que se presenta con la lluvia, con posibilidad de que se seque luego para la carrera, sí, estamos de acuerdo. Pero bueno, la lluvia siempre nos da oportunidades. A todo aquel que no sale en pole position pues siempre tiene el temor, ¿no? De que llegue la lluvia, y nosotros lo vamos a intentar aprovechar hoy.
Thanks, guys.
Never really noticed.
Well, Daniel, yesterday was a bit of a tricky day for you and the team, and frustratingly, with this weather, you're not going to get the benefit of that free choice of tyres. But how positive are you about this race?
Yeah, I'm positive. I don't mind the rain, so I'm not mad to see the rain. But yeah, I feel like the tyre choice actually, served a pretty good purpose around here. I think the softs look tricky for most all weekend, especially long runs. So having the option or the choice would have been nice, but we lose that now. But no one's starting on a it's going to be definitely a wet start.
You said on Saturday that you were pretty happy with the car in the wet and the dry. Quali was a bit trickier, with other teams perhaps making gains on you. From P11, do you think you can get a good haul of points?
Yes, I think so. I feel it's probably going to be a race that starts wet and dries. I think once this cloud passes, we might get a bit of a gap in the weather. So I think it's going to be like 2 races. But yeah, the mixed conditions are pretty fun. It always provides, those conditions always provide a pretty exciting race. So I do like that. I'll use that to my advantage.
And you mentioned earlier about the empty grandstands, but you're still getting a lot of strong support from home and through the fans, through social media and television. Does that buoy you going into the race?
Yeah, it's obviously nice. It's the first time I've really looked out into the stands on a Sunday. We're normally so busy and we just meeting after meeting, then we get in the car and we go, and we're kind of in race mode. So yeah, I noticed it before and it does feel a bit weird, but yeah, once we're in the car, it'll be all good. And yeah, everyone back home, I think, watching today, wherever you are in the world on TV, you're going to have these conditions always provide a crazy race. So I think that's what you'll get.
Fantastic. All the best today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Over to your teammate Esteban. It was a tricky session yesterday, wasn't it? You were complaining about lack of grip, lack of balance in the car. Yeah. Have you got your head around those issues today?
Well, it's Parc Fermé, so obviously we can't really change much, but conditions are totally different today. So I was praying for rain yesterday, looking at where we start. It is happening now. Hopefully it's going to stay wet, for most of the race. That's what I would like to. And yeah, from there, I think everything can happen. It's going to be important to stay on track at the beginning and see where we are after that.
So you do have more confidence in the car in terms of race pace than perhaps yesterday, because quali was a strange one, wasn't it?
Yeah, quali was very strange. The race pace was better than what we've shown in qualifying. If it rains, it's just reset again. Hopefully we have the same pace as we had in Austria. But then anything can happen, so it's going to be so interesting to watch.
And how are you enjoying your time in the team?
I'm enjoying, more the time goes by, and the more I feel like I settle in. So definitely enjoying, learning, how people work, the more and more. So it's great also to be teaming up with Daniel. He's a really cool guy. It's a great atmosphere. I'm enjoying my time.
Now, un petit peu en français, s'il vous plaît.
Pas de problème. Non, ça va être une course très intéressante. Là, il y a de la pluie, c'était ce qu'on espérait hier. Donc, ouais, il va falloir essayer de rester en dehors du grabuge au départ et voir où est-ce qu'on est après. Mais tout est possible, même en partant à l'arrière avec ces conditions.
Formidable. Merci.
And I'm down here at AlphaTauri, and I've got 17th position, Daniel Kvyat. Bit of a frustrating day for you yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't the most successful qualifying ever, but today we tried to recover, we tried to do our best, and still seems like weather conditions are unstable, so there is still plenty to play for. Hopefully we can manage to make the right calls today. It's usually a key to success on days like this.
Yeah, and you always have a good race pace. So today, with this weather, do you reckon you can sort of dig something out of the difficult position you are at the moment?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's possible. Yeah, for sure there are risks and opportunities today. So we will see. We will see what we can do, what calls we can make. For sure there will be some tough calls to make today. They might be right, they might be wrong. We will see.
And how good is the car in the wet? Is it something that you can really sort of throw around, especially here in Hungary in the race, in wet conditions?
Yeah, it was on Friday. I had problem on my car, so I couldn't really evaluate it. So I don't know exactly, but I just have to hope it's gonna be good and just feel it as the race comes towards me. I think it's the best thing to do.
Yeah, and again, motivation must come for you because you see Pierre getting that 10th place, so you know you can do the job. And as long as the car gives you what you need, do you think you can get closer to your teammate by the end of the race?
When today?
Today? Definitely today.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get up to Pierre.
Yeah, I know. I know he's starting more ahead, but also in Hungary, in Austria was like this, then I overtook him in the race, so everything is possible. You know, Sunday is a different day. For sure, I wish I could start closer, but that's the way it went yesterday, so we try to recover some of it today.
And a few words in your own language.
Yeah. Погодные условия довольно нестабильные, поэтому я надеюсь, что сегодня мы сможем извлечь из этого выгоду и попробуем сделать правильные решения и заработать очки.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And Pierre Gasly. How are you, mate? 10th position, but you looked as if you had to take control of that situation to make sure you were ready to get that lap in.
Yeah, exactly. It was quite messy, quite difficult in the start of the weekend, but yeah, in the end we managed to do the lap in my first run in Q2. The second one we had to abort with the engine problems. So yeah, it was great to still make it to Q3 even though we didn't drive yet.
Yeah, what about race pace, of course, with this weather, that's one thing. But around you, of course, you've got Lando Norris, for example. Do you reckon you've got the pace to sort of battle it with them?
Well, in normal conditions, I don't think we are as fast as the McLaren at the moment. Even with the Renault, we know it's going to be quite a big challenge for us. But yeah, we'll fight. I will love to have a wet race. I think it makes a bit all the chances for everybody. And yeah, we saw last weekend we can still get a good performance on the wet, and I really like this track also in these conditions. So that could be fun.
Yeah, it's funny sometimes. You speak to some drivers, they say, no, I prefer it to be dry. But of course, this is something that you enjoy, these conditions. So from that, does that mean that you'll be able to stay in the points, but maybe get some decent points, maybe up to that 6th place, maybe?
Yeah, that's the target. We know that on the dry at the moment, we are slightly behind Renault and McLaren and the cars ahead. So I think for us, it just gives us a bit more chances. So hopefully, it stopped. But if it can come back with a bit more rain, that will be great. So yeah, we'll see.
A few words in your own language.
Ouais, du coup, ça n'a pas été simple depuis le début du week-end avec les soucis en FP1 et les problèmes moteurs en qualif. On a quand même réussi à aller en Q3 avec le seul tour qu'on a fait en Q2, donc c'était vraiment bien. Et maintenant pour la course, j'espère qu'il va pleuvoir. Ça nous donne un peu plus de chance parce qu'on sait dans les conditions normales, c'est un peu plus compliqué avec les Renault et les McLaren autour de nous. Donc on va voir ce qui se passe, mais on va essayer d'aller chercher quelques points aujourd'hui. Thanks.
Well, Lance, congratulations on amazing qualifying yesterday. You start from P3. Just describe the feeling of having a car under you now that can legitimately be challenging for podiums.
Yeah, it was extraordinary. Great day for the team, not just for myself. Locking out the 2nd row was an amazing achievement. Coming here to Hungary, where we didn't think we would be. I think we knew we would be competitive, like we saw in Austria. But we definitely thought Red Bull and McLaren and some other teams, Ferrari as well, would be really competitive. But we had the upper hand, comfortably had the upper hand on them throughout qualifying, which was awesome. And yeah, now looking forward to today. It's a whole different story. There's rain in the forecast. The track's wet right now, so we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, it's definitely a whole new ball game today.
Yeah, so you've got the Mercs in front, you've got the Ferraris behind. As you say, there's going to be a fair amount of standing water out there because it's rained heavily. I heard you say to your teammate, everything changes. How do you adapt to these changing conditions?
Part of the fun, racing, you know. It's just going to be all about searching for grip out there at the beginning of the race. If it doesn't dry up, I don't think it will dry up. There's only an hour 15 to go, so yeah, it'll just be about you know, keeping it clean, but you know, looking for the best lines and trying to find the best grip out there, and then from there we'll you know, do our race. It might dry up throughout the race, and a lot of things can happen.
All the best today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Checo, just tell us about morale in the team, because this is a team that has come back from almost collapse to now be fighting at the front. You've got a second row lockout. You must be delighted.
Yeah, definitely. I think the team has been through very tough times in the past, and now finally we have a package. And yeah, I think we must be able to maximize the potential of the car. I think in the first two races we were obviously learning and a few things happened there. So I think from now on we should be maximizing every single weekend with both cars well into the points, and yeah, just keep scoring as many points as possible in this kind of a short championship.
Now, you mentioned yesterday that you were struggling physically. How are you today? Have you had some treatment? Just tell us about it.
Yeah, I had a lot of therapies and treatments yesterday all day long. It's been a bit funny because I had a bit of pain on my neck at the end of the day on Friday, but that was pretty normal. We tend to suffer sometimes with the neck. But then into qualifying, I was getting a bit easier as the quali progressed. So yeah, nothing big, just for the race I can do.
Well, all the best today, and un poco en español, por favor.
Ayer la calificación sufrí un poco tenía una vértebra apachurrada y creo que hemos hecho terapia, hemos trabajado muy fuerte con todos los doctores y los fisios del equipo, y creo que hoy deberíamos de estar al 100% para ir por una gran carrera.
Gracias.
Well, now I'm down at Alfa Romeo, got Antonio Giovinazzi in 19th, Kimi Raikkonen in 20th, who's standing to my left. Antonio, this looks as if it's going to be a battle between yourself and Kimi Raikkonen, or do you want to go a little bit further forward than that?
Oh no, I think the target is to go forward, especially with this condition. Everything can happen, so it will be similar, I think, like Hockenheim last year. So we need to try our best, and like I say, everything we need to be just on the right place, on the right moment.
Right, and what about that first lap? Because turn 1, turn 2, you can always get yourself into trouble. Have you got any sort of plan to what might happen in those first 2 corners?
No plan, just stay out from the trouble.
Right, okay. And what about the track itself? Will these wet conditions suit you more? Because obviously the pace in the dry is not so hot. But is it better today, do you think, if it is wet?
We did some laps Friday on the wet as well, and we weren't really fast also on that condition. But you know, it's a race, it's a different things. So we found also some good point to improve for the wet condition as well. So hopefully, you know, still I don't know, 1 hour to go, 1 hour and a half. So still everything can happen. Just like you say, stay out from the trouble and turn 1 and turn 2, and then after that we'll see.
And a few words in your own language.
Sorry?
A few words in your own language.
Ok. Sarà una gara sicuramente non facile, le condizioni sono molto difficili, un po' come l'anno scorso ad Hockenheim. L'importante sarà stare lontano dai problemi e cercare di portare a casa la macchina con il miglior risultato possibile.
Thank you. Kimi, 20th last, that must feel awful to hear.
It's far from obviously why we are here, but yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
What can you say? You know?
What you say? Not a lot. What about today? How motivated are you to sort of do one of the best races that we've seen from Kimi Raikkonen, wet or dry?
Obviously, we try the best that we can, and obviously conditions probably going to be quite tricky. So we'll just have to try to stay on track and go forward and see what the race brings to us. But yeah, we'll see. It's supposed to rain a lot.
Yeah, and Antonio sort of mentioned that the car was good on Friday. Is that your wish, that you have a wet race?
I wouldn't say that we were exactly flying on Friday in the wet, but I think we understood some of the things that for sure we could have improved on the wet. So hopefully those things will improve. If it's going to be wet, then we'll see what we get. Obviously, in the wet condition, it's always a lot of things happen, and it just depends how much is water, and then if there's mixed conditions, then we need to get it right, the timing on a pit stop. So.
Just a few words in your own language.
Katsotaan, katsotaan mitä kisa tuo tullessa, että toivottavasti paranisi edes vähän.
Thanks, Kimi.
So Kevin, P16 today, it's the first time you've had both cars out in Q1 since Mexico. Have you get any better idea on what's going wrong with the team at the moment?
I think there's nothing really, seriously wrong. I think we're just behind on development. We changed the philosophy of the car for this year, and I think we're on the right path, which is very, way too early on, on that path, and a little bit underdeveloped. So that's why at the moment we're not that fast, but actually the car is working really well. We just need to put more downforce on it and keep developing. But at the moment, of course, we've been in this strange situation where everything has been shut down for a long time, and also financially, the whole sport has been in a tough time. So I think it's only understandable where we are, I think, and we just every race we try and do what we can. I think the car is very good in the race, very nice to drive in the race, and much better than on the tires than last year. So there's reason to be optimistic for the races now.
That's great. So it feels like there's light at the end of the tunnel. At least you're on the right trajectory. It's not like there's going to have to be a whole shift in the plan for the year. So it's a matter of time.
Yeah, I think so. I think the team is going in the right direction, as I said, and it's just we've fallen behind, because when you shift direction like that, you eventually you fall back, and then you have to make up. With the previous way that we worked with the old car, we kind of reached the limit. There was no more really to gain with that car. Every update we brought to the car, it didn't give us anything. So yeah, it was a big decision to change direction, but I think we've done the right thing, and now it's just about working hard and making progress.
All the best today. If we could have a word in your own language, please.
Glæder mig til et løb. Det ser ud til at være godt, så det skulle give nogle muligheder. Jeg giver den alt, hvad jeg har.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Great. I'm sure it was fantastic. I'll take your word for it that it was good.
Yes, it was.
Romain, great to see you. I know that yesterday was a tricky time for you, but the heavens have opened. It is very wet out there, and presumably rain is a good thing for you guys.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we open to every race scenario that we can have. Obviously, on the dry in Hungary, it's difficult to overtake when you're at the back, so the wet could help. I think a race like we had at Hockenheim last year could be a good chance for us. So the car seems to behave okay in both conditions. As Kev said, we don't have the raw speed that we would like, but the car behaves nicely, so let's see what we get today.
So what's a realistic target for you, do you think?
In those conditions, you can never predict anything. So, I think we just wait where we are after 70 laps.
And you're the chairman of the GPDA. What have you decided to do around the anthem?
I don't know. It hasn't been cleared. We haven't had the meeting. So I guess everyone's going to do what he feels like doing.
Individual choice?
Yes.
And could we have a word in French, please?
Effectivement, les conditions aujourd'hui sont un petit peu différentes par rapport à ce qu'on a eu sur le reste. Enfin, pas tellement, parce qu'on a eu de la pluie à vendredi. Mais je pense qu'on attend une course avec des changements de météo. Ça aurait peut-être la meilleure chose pour nous, puisque la vitesse pure de la voiture n'est pas forcément là. La voiture est bonne, mais il nous manque un petit peu de vitesse pure. Donc si les conditions sont changeantes, comme on a eu en Allemagne l'année dernière, pourquoi pas essayer d'aller sortir les marrons du feu et chercher un bon résultat.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Au revoir. Bonne chance.
Well, I'm down at Williams and I've got George and Nicholas in front of me. I'll come to you first, Nicholas. You must have been happy with qualified because that was nice for the team but for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. On a personal level, happy to get my first Q2 so soon in my Formula One career. And then, yeah, really happy from the team point of view. And I think that really has to be acknowledged, the amazing job they've done. I mean, George very nearly into Q3 as well. Pure merit, no mixed conditions. So I think it shows the step we made forward. Today's a bit of a different story now, which I was kind of quite hoping for anyway. So, yeah, it'll be an exciting race for sure.
Yeah, and what about sort of the start of the race? It looks as if it's obviously going to start wet or damp. Are you looking forward to that? Is it a proper challenge around this track, that's for sure?
Yeah, I mean, I think even though in the dry we knew we were still going to be relatively more competitive to the other tracks, we realistically still have a better chance of getting a good result in these mixed conditions. So, yeah, I'm quite happy because, I mean, in the first 3 races, I will have experienced a bit of everything already. The carnage in the first race, the wet qualifying, and now a wet race could dry at some point in the race. Let's see. So, yeah, I'm going to be experiencing it all and looking forward to feeling that.
Yeah, and what about the race itself? Are you looking forward to sort of maybe moving up a few places, trying to beat this man next year?
Yeah, the goal is for sure always to move forward. Yeah, I mean, points are definitely going to be the target, and but I think the main thing is just to take the checker flag first and foremost, because in a race like this, anything could happen.
Yeah, and a few words in your own language.
My own language is English.
That's what I'm being told that one. But do a bit of French. Do a bit of French.
I don't speak French good enough yet. Your own language. I speak Canadian, eh? Yeah.
Why did someone tell me that? Yeah. But anyway, I'll come to you, George. Brilliant stuff. Right. Right. 12th on the grid for you. That was
Indeed.
fantastic. 12th on the grid for you. I would imagine when you got back, that garage was probably going mad.
Yeah, I mean, they've not been used to that for a long time, so no, really happy for the boys. They've been working hard. So yeah, really pleased with them, you know, working hard here, just carrying a few of the tools around, so no, looking forward to the race really.
Right, okay. And what about the car itself in these wet or dry conditions? Is it sort of good in both? Because you must be growing in confidence.
I'm looking forward to it. I was, you know, I thought it would be a tough race if it was dry today because I got some quick cars behind. I'm ready for it. It's going to be tricky. Don't think visibility will be great, but we'll be ready to pounce and hopefully get a good strategy along the way.
Yeah, well, you've got Lando Ricciardo, your mate, Alex Albon around you. You must be looking forward to have a little bit of a will-to-will battle with them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'll see after the opening couple of laps how quick our car is and how quick their car is. So, but like I say, last week it worked well in the wet. Hopefully it's the same this weekend.
Right, some words in your own language.